Let's go to the next question. This one's from Pato from Argentina. This means when I try to sing high and loud, a wrong vocal shade selection will make me crack. What would be the approach closing or opening the vowel? This was you remember this point of the presentation perhaps?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a great question. So essentially, if you're feeling strain and you're feeling cracking, in general, your vowel is probably too wide. And more specifically, this lower resonance, your throat resonator is, in a sense, wanting to be over involved. And it's reaching up for parts of the sound wave that it really can no longer effectively resonate. The mouth can boost higher frequencies in general than the throat can, in very simplified terms. So your progression should probably be, if you're struggling with the higher notes, is to start with more closed vowels and to back off a little bit. And then you can gradually open them up a little more. And you'll maybe start to feel a little more intensity. And then at a certain point, then you'll feel maybe the shout mechanism come in and everything will start to tense up, pull the vowel back. It's very often not a process of just making an instant adjustment. It's making a slight over adjustment to the more closed vowel and then walking yourself back forward. And great singers, they sing right on the razor's edge at certain points, but they don't fall over into the yell and the crack.
Yeah, it's always a little bit challenging because we're not in the same room. We can't say, Pato, could you demonstrate what's happening for us so we could hear and give you some really pinpoint feedback? But I just recall this question popped up when you were using the sine wave generator and showing the difference of the oo and e perception in the high,
Yeah.
and a lot of singers. And they'll want to sing that really forward bright E as they go up, and that's never going to work. And then, but they hear it on the sine wave, and that can be misleading, right? As you're going higher up, you're hearing more of that E perception-wise, those frequencies, and you try and do the E, and then you just get stuck. So I like the suggestion. I like to say there's 99% of every singer out there likes to pronounce E really forward. But in singing, that only works to a certain pitch. And the lucky few that naturally pronounce the E with maybe that undervowel that you were talking about, E. That E is going to go higher. The E is never going to go higher, not for you, not for me, not for anyone, because of referred back to John's presentation today.
Yeah. And very often on a higher E, you'll have to pull your tongue back a little bit, because what's happening is, a spoken E, the tongue is so far forward and the mouth resonator is very small. So what they're doing then is they're constricting the throat, because the throat is so long that it's going to want to fall apart. So then they're trying to constrict it on top of it to offset that. But a really good place to start is just feel and then see how far you need to go to get E. E. It's supposed to E.
Mm-hmm.
It really is just finding the perception.
That's a great hint. If you're an English speaker, we have this fable of the giant that says fee, fi, fo, fum. And if you speak like a giant, ha, fee, fi, fo, fum, then you've got that E in that same space. Now this direction will take you generally to a more classical sound. Right? And if you want to, and like John was saying, getting that E in the space or an E in an oo space is a very common strategy. And in German, I lived in Germany for a long time, so the German vowel Ü, which is an oo and an E kind of combined, they rhyme in poetry. And they're also used to train the E vowel in singing, because they have naturally kind of a mix of this vowel and the space. It's very, very interesting. And if you're looking for more of a pop sound, you can go from an A and try and find out when the A becomes E, when it becomes I, When it becomes E, or go the opposite way, E, there are so many gradients in between. So it's finding that magic gradient in your voice, like John said, that gives the perception of the vowel E, but is never going to be an E. It just sounds like one.
And what I love about the approach that you just gave is you were essentially, you're adjusting the resonances, right? You're doing all this kind of sciencey stuff, but you're doing it in a way that singers can understand. Oh, I'm doing it through with like an oo setting or an A setting, and so you're shifting these resonances in ways that singers can control and understand. They're thinking in vowel shades. You know, you're not going to do calculations when you're singing, and so
Yeah.
controlling the vowel really is the secret to mastering this.
It really is, and it takes some time, but that's okay. You know,
Yeah.
we live in the world of I'm going to order it and it's going to show up tomorrow. And that simply doesn't work with most things in life. It's not the I guess that said, that can be frustrating for some people to hear, but I also want to communicate that you are doing this on a daily basis already without even thinking about it. So when you lock in and click into that function you already know how to do, then you get this magical feeling John was talking about, where you're like, oh gosh, I'm not working, it sounds great, it's effortless. That is the balance.